Hey, girl, this one's directed by another Gillian with a G.
I know, and produced by John Legend.
You guys, it's our best friend's husband. Watch your mouth in this one, girl. We got to keep them on our good side.
Hey, girl. Hey, John. Call me.
Hi, Julia Pensavalle.
Hey, Patrick Hines.
Banana. You guys, before we jump in, if you're looking for more Gillian and me, join us at the Patreon over like 100. I'm going to bump it up. 160 full bonus episodes to download and binge right this second, girl.
And if you've been listening for a long time, we have done more than 10 episodes in the last year and a half since you've been saying 150. We're talking Tiger King, Don't F with Cats, Lorena, Making a Murderer, The Jinx. We're in the middle of Night Stalker.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. On the $5 level, we promise you 3 full bonus episodes every month. Almost every time it's 4, sometimes it's 5. We very rarely only do 3.
And they're all ad-free, by the way. They're ad-free versions of these episodes. We're doing after parties. We're hanging out. We're giving you videos every once in a while.
Oh my God, you guys, in the after parties, we are taking your calls. We're doing advice. We're giving you advice for better or worse, girl.
We are now one of those late night radio shows. Remember Sleepless in Seattle, where she's driving, Meg Ryan's driving late at night, listening to us, basically.
Yes. And also, just join the Facebook group, you guys. Come find your true crime best friends. It's just a great place to meet, hang out, talk about the episodes, get suggestions for other documentaries, but also, like, meet and make actual friends. I'm waiting for, like, 2 people to meet their significant others.
Oh, yeah.
I'm waiting for, like, a Facebook group marriage proposal. I'm waiting for it.
Keep us posted, everybody.
All right, girl, what are we talking about today?
We are talking about Southern Rites, which is about segregated proms in Georgia in like 2009.
I know. I'm going to play my hand right at the top. I was nervous because John Legend is like the producer on this. And like, we love Chrissy Teigen and we hope that she never like leaves us. And I was afraid like, what happens if we don't like it? I loved this. I loved this documentary.
I loved it too, but the panic I felt when you were like, I'm going to say this right at the top. And it's like, what? Oh, is this over? Like, you could have blown it all up, girl, right now if you said something other than you just wanted to love it. If you were like, those racists have a point, I'd be like, it's over. I quit.
No, and the other thing I'll say before we play the trailer is just that I thought this was just about segregated proms. No, this is about a murder as well.
Yeah.
Like, there's murder at the center of this. It's such a good documentary.
It's great. It's great.
Like, stop killing people, everybody.
I'm like, don't be racist, God.
In 2009, I was commissioned to go down to Georgia and photograph the segregated proms.
I was told that if my date was going to be black, he wouldn't be let in.
I was so mystified how this could still be happening in the 21st century. And little did I know, as the film would unravel, that there would be so much more than just a story about segregated proms, but really a story about race in general.
I always knew that I wanted to return to this town, so I thought that I was making a story about a town coming together to have their first integrated prom, and then a tragedy happened.
911. I need this baby to come out here, because I think I heard one of them.
My 22-year-old son was taken from me.
We've seen this on television a lot lately with young people whose lives did not need to be lost, people who were unarmed in situations where they were thought to be more dangerous than they really were. This film really explores the racial divide. We see it in the criminal justice system, the way people interact in their social lives, and then, of course, in voting as well.
My dad is the very first black chief of police, and if he gets sheriff, it'll be really historic.
It's a really complicated story, and these are conversations that are hard to have, and I think they're necessary conversations.
There are aspects of the ending that say, man, it's the same story over again and nothing's changed. But you see some sense that people might start coming together, and so that gives me some hope.
Can I just say the episode opens with like shots of these kids at their prom, like in the early 2000s. And I just wanted to say, like, prom outfits have come a long way, baby.
Yes.
These kids look good. I remember my prom, girl, and I was basically wearing that ruffled tuxedo that like Sophia Petrillo's boyfriends always wear on episodes of The Golden Girls.
Yeah. I wore a black dress to my prom.
I feel like you were born in a black dress, you got married in a black dress, we're going to bury you in a black dress.
Well, yeah, my senior prom, I wore a black dress. I went to the prom as a freshman, too.
Oh, yeah. I was talking about this on OWD. I went to every single prom from freshman to senior year because I was the gay kid that, like, you wanted to take if you couldn't get a date.
Fun.
Yeah. I always say I was in high demand as a chubby, weird-looking gay guy in high school. High demand. You guys don't know your value.
And you know what? You still didn't even peak in high school. You just went up and up and up.
right, so let's get into this, girl. It opens, we meet this incredible young woman. Her name is Kiki Burns.
I love Kiki. And this filmmaker, her name is Gillian with a G. So
which I love.
That might be confusing for you, but it's the facts. Yeah. I guess we can call her filmmaker Gillian.
Sure.
Not like I ever say my own name on this podcast. I don't know why I'm hedging like this, but you can tell that Gillian has a really great relationship with a lot of her subjects here because Kiki says right at the top, she's like,
the day you met me, when you asked me, that I go to school, was I in high school, was a proms together, I knew what it was about. And yes, I was excited because finally, story is getting out and hoping for a change. And, I was really excited. My daddy was really excited. We was all just excited. We really wanted you to see our side.
In 2009, Gillian came to Georgia to photograph Montgomery High School's segregated proms. And Kiki is like, we're really glad you did this because we really wanted you to see our side. And she's talking about the black people.
Right. I remember when this documentary came out. I remember this. And learning that there were segregated proms in 2009 in Georgia, it's like, what planet are we on?
I know. And then before we even really kick this off, we also meet Julie. And Julie is a white girl. And she's like,
I got in a lot of trouble with some of the students for trying to integrate it. They told me, what are you doing? It's not the parents. It is us. We don't want it together, and you need to stop trying to do this. I got cussed out.
Her boyfriend is black, and she said the white students would not let them come to the prom because of her black boyfriend. And she's like, so we went to the black prom instead because they were okay with it.
But she also says, I wanted to be clear, it was not the parents that were saying it. It was the students. So Kiki's on camera with her lower third, says her name. Then it just says, unidentified white woman. And you hear this high school student being like,
this community and this school system is fine like it is. We don't want to change it. We want to live the way our grandparents lived and the way our great-grandparents lived. Why change something that has worked? Just leave it alone.
Who says these things out loud? It is bananas.
Right. Who thinks it's working? Who thinks it's all okay?
And everybody, including Kiki, who's a black student, is saying, we're all best friends. According to Kiki, there's no racial discord at school. And so it doesn't make any sense to her why they're segregating the proms. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
Right. So Gillian goes down here, photographs it. Yeah. So we get some on-screen text explaining what happened. And so the photos she took were published in New York Times Magazine. Yeah. Hey, they got a lot of attention. So by the next year, the high school felt a ton of pressure. And I'm like, yeah, no shit. And they decide to change and now integrate the prom. So she's like, all right, I'm going to go down to Georgia and do a follow-up sort of photo story and photograph the now integrated prom finally in 2010 in Georgia. In 2010, it's a big deal that the proms are integrated. I can't get over it.
But then, you guys, this is all before we even get the opening title card of the documentary.
I was riveted. I was riveted by what's about to happen.
Gillian shows up. You guys, she's with New York Times Magazine. She's not some rinky-dink photographer. She's legit. She shows up to photograph the prom. And since there had been such an uproar in that community after the first time she did it, she gets stopped by these parents at the high school. First, some lady is leaning in the window screaming at her.
No, ma'am, do not put that in my face. And the problem is you are not supposed to be on school property unless you are signed in.
Hey. Then some dude leans in the window and I just wrote, hits her, ? Grabs her camera, ?
What newspaper are you with?
Hey!
No.
This is our property.
No, you got problems. You got problems, honey.
His name is Clarence Sanders. He's the county sheriff. Give him a goog, flood his DMs.
Sanders.
Whatever you got to do to contact this guy, Clarence Sanders, louder for the people in the back. And he's super aggressive right away.
Oh,
and he's in her car in the window and he's like, what newspaper are you with? And she's like, wait, what? Then suddenly, he grabs Gillian and the camera. She is screaming. She's terrified. She's screaming at the top of her lungs. No.
Yeah,
what are you doing? What are you doing? And the screen is black because I don't know if it's a camera phone or what, but it's on the seat of her car. We don't see what's happening. We just hear the rustling and the commotion on the camera. She is screaming for her life. Yes. She's screaming, no. What are you doing? Then Clarence Sanders says, you got problems, honey. And Gillian is like, okay, I'm sorry. I'm leaving. I'm going to go. And then the on-screen text just goes, but then I stumbled on a more complicated story with thunder rumbling. And I'm like, Gillian, Hook, line, and sinker, I am it. Girl. This editing is genius. So we meet Calvin Burns, and he's a black guy, and he's sitting there, and he's like,
this is South Georgia. The further you go north, Atlanta, everything's pretty well normal. Further you go south, Miami, everything's pretty well normal. This is middle Georgia, Mount Vernon, Georgia. Things gonna stay the way it is.
We are in the middle of Georgia. Things are just never going to change. And he says it with kind of like a smirk, but then cut immediately. Gillian, you or your editor, incredible. Because we see there's like a woman in a Confederate flag jacket.
She's like a kid. She's like a 15-year-old girl.
All these people that run around screaming the Confederate flag is racist, in my opinion, they're not stupid, they're ignorant, because ignorance is the absence of really knowing what happened. I'm not going to hide it for nobody. If I wanted to show the rebel flag, I'm going to, because that's my heritage.
She's like, that's just the way it is down here. It's not racist. It's just the Southern way. And I'm like, two things can be true at once, lady. Like, that's racist.
This girl, she's wearing a Confederate flag jacket saying, I'm going to call them ignorant, because ignorance is the absence of knowing what happened.
Girl.
You guys, the irony of that moment, the irony of this white girl wearing a Confederate flag calling people who don't like that ignorant because they don't know what happened.
I was screaming about this, and she knows that she's full of shit. Like, on some level, she knows she's full of shit because she calls it the rebel flag.
I know.
We meet someone who is just the epitome of someone who will not listen and just want to stick in their racist ways because they think, like, that's the way it should be. He basically becomes, for lack of a better term, the star of this documentary. We will drag him momentarily.
Oh, my God.
And then after we see this idiot, like, full stop defending the Confederate flag, I don't care if she's a kid. She's an idiot and she's a racist. But we're back to Calvin, and Calvin, who is just naming more locations that are less racist than Mount Vernon, Georgia. He's just naming cities.
And we're going to learn this guy really loves this town. Calvin is awesome. We'll get to him in a second. But like, we're finally at like the official opening of this documentary. And it opens with this 911 call out of the fucking Twilight Zone.
911.
Oh, I need a deputy to come out to my house, please.
Is this Mr. Neesmith?
Yeah.
You and your daughter?
No.
No.
A friend of hers that was over here. No, Danielle's okay.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah, but I need a deputy to come out here because I think I heard one of them.
The 911 operator answers the phone as though she's been woken from like the soundest sleep. And I get the sense that this town is so small, she actually is asleep in bed, and that's where she does her 911 dispatching job.
It's her home phone number, just directly to Cheryl. And what really struck me here, if you're the 911 dispatcher in a documentary, things probably didn't go well. So our job is to talk about the documentary, and we've apologized for kind of coming pretty hard at 911 operators a little bit.
Right, like it's a hard job. If you don't end up in a documentary, you're probably doing it right.
Right, but here's what happens. This guy, Norman Neesmith, is calling and asking for a deputy to come out to his house. And the operator knows who he is. This is the nicest, most coddling, most bullshit operator I think we've ever come across. Because she's like, Norman, sweetheart, what's wrong? And he's like, had a little trouble. And the operator's like, oh, is your daughter Danielle okay?
I know.
They know each other very well. And Norman's like, oh, no, Danielle's fine. And the operator's like, oh, well, sugar, that's good to hear. And I'm like, ma'am, obviously something is wrong if he's calling 911. Can we fucking focus? You're not at a reunion. If he's calling 911, where's the urgency, for fuck's sake? And the operator is like, what'd you do, Mr. Norman?
What do you do, Mr. Norman?
I hate to say it, but I shot him.
You think you shot him?
Yeah.
You don't know who it was, Mr. Norman?
It was just a black boy.
It was a black boy?
Yeah.
Is he still there?
No, he hit the woods.
He hit the woods?
Yeah.
And the operator asks who he shot. Norman Neesmith says it was just a black boy. And I am incensed.
But the insensenitude goes even farther because she asks him if he's okay and if he needs an ambulance for him.
Do you need an ambulance, Mr. Norman?
No, I'm just all scraped up, you know.
Okay.
He is acting like a shy little kid. She is coddling him. Like, let's all take care of the old racist white guy. And I guess I am not taking care of anybody, especially Norman Neesmith, who's here with us. And he looks like a fucking miserable human being. He's scowling. His arms are crossed. He's pissed at the world. And I'm like, oh, great. Here we go. Thanks a lot, John Legend. But also, thank you. Thank you.
But no, really, thank you. John Legend.
No. Never change.
Oh, and the other thing about this guy, Norman, you guys, because I've I've been trained by Gillian. I now watch all of these documentaries with the subtitles on. I accidentally turned the subtitles off at one point, and I could not understand a single person in this documentary. We're going to try to play clips because that's what we do, but like, I don't know. Hold on to your butts, everybody. We're going to see how it goes.
Yeah, and of course, I wrote down everything. I have 80 pages of notes, so it's fine.
And so now we learn about the person that got shot, and his name was Justin Patterson. And we're back with Kiki. Remember Kiki from the beginning, who we love? She is just saying that
My first love was Justin Patterson. I was 14. He was my 9th grade homecoming date. We dated like straight on for like 2 years, and then on and off my whole high school career until 12th grade.
And Kiki goes,
Justin Patterson was my first everything.
And then she like looks right at the camera and goes,
everything.
Well, she and Gillian have a cool friendship. And when I wrote down the second everything in my notes, there was a space between every letter where she was like, everything. But she's like cute about it.
Totally.
They were in love. They were each other's first loves.
And Kiki is saying that like when she learned that Justin died, her mom woke her up and told her, and she was just in shock and couldn't get out of bed. And, you know, I mean, like that was the end result of that 911 call. Like that racist Norman guy shot this Justin kid, and he died soon thereafter.
Right.
And so we're back with Norman, the guy who killed Justin. We're on his porch, and like this is just what I don't know. This is what I imagine old white conservative men do all the time. They just pontificate about how they've never been scared of anybody.
I ain't never been scared. I ain't bragging or nothing, but the person I'm scared of ain't been born yet. I ain't never been scared of nobody. You know, really scared.
You know, I'm not bragging, but I've never once been scared in my entire life. And the thing is, I think Norman is terrified.
Right.
Norman is so scared of the world and everything outside his teeny, teeny, tiny bubble. He is so scared of the unknown and anything that's not his little racist life. Norman, you're terrified. I'm saying it right to your face.
But I gotta tell you, we learn an interesting detail about Norman. We learn that Norman has a daughter named Danielle, and she's black, or she's biracial. That's how she describes herself eventually when we meet her. But like Norman is telling us,
my niece is her mama. I was working at night when I came home. I said, who's the little baby? And she said, your niece brought her. And I said, who? So I had to think a while, you know, to figure it out. I said, well, what did she say? And she wanted to leave the baby till she got straightened out. That was 21 years ago. She never got straightened out, I don't reckon.
One night in the middle of the night, his niece showed up at his home with her like 4-month-old daughter and basically was like, here, take this, bye, and went to get herself like, quote, straightened out, but never came back.
Right. And Norman says, I raised her knowing she was black. It didn't matter. And I feel like Norman wants a medal for this.
I know.
And I'm not going to give him one.
I agree, but I do see how this complicates things a little bit because Norman does talk about what he lost having a black daughter. He lost friends. People stopped talking to him. And so even though like that alone doesn't make him a good person, I think that we are meant to understand that Norman can't tell us that he doesn't think racism exists. We know that Norman knows that racism exists because he's experienced it.
I just want him to have a conversation with himself a little bit where it's like, Norman, you've experienced some of this. We can be honest about what the world is like, right? Yeah. Instead of him pontificating about like, I miss the days where men just shook hands.
I remember when a handshake was a man's bond. That was it. A handshake was the best guarantee about anybody you could ever get. If that man shook your hand, that was it. That was the deal that was done.
Sometimes we'd have a conversation, you'd shake hands, and that would be it. And I'm like, what are you talking about? What are you saying?
But Norman says to us, like, speaking about Danielle.
And I love her to this day. No matter what she's done, I still love her. If she caused all this, I still love her. You know, I raised her as my child. And I can't turn my back all the way on her. Not 100%, I can't do it.
Even if she caused all this, and I just wrote, oh God, what do you think she did? Like, what do you think she caused? Like, what are you blaming on her? You know what I mean?
Right. So we meet a couple of people here. We're about to learn what happened that night. Norman victim blames left, right, and center. And we also meet Justin, who is the victim here. His mom is Dee Dee Patterson, and his brother, Justin's younger brother, is Siobhan. So we immediately, Gillian the filmmaker, not me. I do not speak about myself in the third person. I actually have a rule against that. I don't like when other people do it. So she asks him, Norman, level with me, girl. What the hell happened? Like, why am I here? Why am I here talking to you, Norman? Let me know. And he's just like,
you didn't go to people's house. unless they knew you was there. You didn't go up to nobody's house and walk in if the door was open. You got permission to do that. That's something you didn't do.
You don't walk into someone's house without permission. And I'm like, okay, someone's a little scared of black people.
Exactly. So we know from that, like, the reason this kid got shot in his house is because apparently he was there without Norman's permission. And it cuts back to Justin's mom. And this is where we start to hear a lot of different voices sort of telling the story of what happened that night. And Justin's mom is saying,
Justin had just met this girl 2 days ago on Facebook. And, Siobhan was sharing with me that night the girls called him and wanted Justin to come over.
These two girls wanted Justin to come over. And so Justin brings his little brother Siobhan. They get in the car. They get directions from the girls. They go to Norman's house. They park across the street and park at an onion farm. I said, oh.
Which Norman is obsessed with for some reason. For some reason, this is yet another perfectly logical reason to kill somebody because they parked across the street at the onion farm. And I'm like, Norman, the questions for me start at, what's an onion farm like?
Like, there's a whole farm dedicated just to onions? You're not going to grow a little corn?
Well, no, because I feel like the onions are pungent. Right? And so you want to keep them separate. I understand. See, you only keep things separate when it's like food or things that can actually, like, you don't do it with people.
No.
Keep the onions separate so they can grow and be their onion selves. But that doesn't work with like real human beings. Right?
Wow, that was a really well taught life lesson, GP. I'm really impressed.
You think that idiot in the Confederate flag jacket heard me, or
no? I'm assuming she's not like a lady paid at the 5. I don't think she's like a big TCO fan. I don't think.
Shocking.
I know.
Shocking.
So Norman is saying, like,
they knew it was wrong. If they didn't know it was wrong, why would they park over there and hide the car and walk over here?
Look, the fact that the kids like hid their car at the onion farm instead of like parking right in front of our house is proof that they knew that what they were doing was wrong. And so Justin's dad says the girls come out of the house to meet them, and the girls invited Justin and Siobhan into the house. That seems to be a big point, like pointing out, proving that like they were invited guests in this home. They didn't break in, they weren't sneaking in. Like the two girls who were there invited them in. They thought they were welcome there.
Right. And again, just to be clear, one of those girls is Danielle, Norman's adopted daughter, right?
Yes,
so
yes.
as we're hearing the story from Justin's family and friends.
I'm sorry, I'm just flashing back to you. You're making the point about how you keep the vegetables separate but not the people.
It seems so simple. It's just ridiculous to segregate human beings.
No, segregate the vegetables. You guys are doing segregation wrong.
Yeah, honestly, and look, I could be, I'm sure there's a farmer out there that's like, no, that's not why we separate the onions. I am ready to be educated, but here's what I know, and I will die on this hill. Segregation is bullshit. Hot take? No.
Do you think Chrissy got John to listen to this episode? He's like, fine, I will give that loud woman and that screaming queen one episode, and it's going to be the movie I made.
My whole theory about Chrissy Teigen and John Legend and their feelings about True Crime Obsessed are this.
Okay. You guys pull over! Pull over!
John Legend loves Chrissy Teigen so much that he is like, oh, that's nice. You like this podcast. And she's like, no, John, like, this is funny. And then he nicely, because he loves her so much and he's nice and perfect in John Legend, he will give us a shot and he won't laugh as much as Chrissy wants him to. And then she spends a lot of the time pausing and explaining why she thinks this is funny to John Legend, who nicely is like, okay, Chrissy, I love you. Like, you should have this, Chrissy. Like, I'm happy that they make you happy, but I don't have to think that they're funny. And she's like, no, John, here's why. And then they have their first fight. The end.
Oh my God.
Chrissy, is that right? Let us know.
Yeah.
How off base am I, John Legend and Chrissy Teigen? But I nailed the segregation thing. I gotta say, I nailed the segregation thing.
Look, you can only be right about so much in every episode. Do you know what I mean? So back to Norman. Norman is now saying that, like, this is definitely not the first time these two boys snuck into somebody's house, because you never get caught the first time.
And I'm like, what are you talking about? What are you saying? And as he's going on and on, he says what every racist says. Color has nothing to do with it. Yep. And then he doubles down what every, like, 2020 racist says.
Yeah.
They blame it on, like, the climate of the country. He's like,
the color has nothing to do with it. And when people understand that this country will be a whole lot better off. We ain't living in the 1920s again.
If people could just understand that there's no racism, this country would be a whole lot better off. And I'm like, Norman, You're wrong again. I hate to tell you. You're wrong again. I have notes.
So we're back with Justin's mom.
Justin and the 19-year-old, I think her name may have been Danielle, they went into her bedroom, and Siobhan and the other girl that was in the house went into another bedroom.
And like the boys did not know that Norman was home, right? Like it's the middle of the night. It's like 3 a.m. So like I will say this was not good planning on anybody's part. Like maybe don't come over in the middle of the night. Maybe like the girls should let him know that the dad is home. Like I can remember a time that I brought friends over in the middle of the night when I was in high school and my mom woke up and got mad. Nobody got shot, girl. Nobody got shot in that scenario.
Because your mom, unlike Norman, didn't sleep with a gun on the nightstand, which is just never a good sign.
What if my mother, liberal lesbian Pam Parker, sleeps with a gun on her nightstand every night?
I'd have a lot of questions, quite frankly. The point is, they say, Danielle was 19 and the kids were sneaking in and they were hooking up. They were teenagers and they were each in each other's bedrooms.
Right.
This is not victim blaming. It's just like kids making bad decisions. It's what happens. And then like Norman should have been the adult in the room and said, wait a second, you go home. Danielle, I'm going to have a word with you. This is not okay. You can't sneak in at 3 a.m. and go into your bedroom. Like that's not allowed. What he chose to do is shoot and kill a black person.
Right. So he wakes up, gets his gun, and this is where we start getting various sides of what people say happened. Norman tells the story like he was very nice to everybody, and that what happened was he like...
But that might be the hardest you've ever made me laugh because it's just such bullshit.
And he like calls the boys into the living room, is trying to have a conversation with him, and Justin rushed at him and knocked him down, and that's why he shot him. And then like Justin's family side of the story is that Justin and Siobhan were like forced into the living room at gunpoint and then held against their will at gunpoint while Norman taunts them and literally tells them to their faces that he could kill both of them right now and get away with it.
He told Justin and Siobhan that he could kill them.
He said he can kill us both and he wouldn't get in trouble.
And Norman's like, okay, fine, yes, I had a gun. Fine,
right.
I had a gun. But Norman, the person who's never been scared of anyone in his entire life and wants that to be the first thing we know about him, is then also saying, these are 2 young, muscular boys. I can't fight them. I'm on disability.
Right.
And I'm like, who's fighting? Why are we going right to a fight?
Right.
Why? Like, use your words, Norman. Use your words, idiot.
And Justin's dad's like, Justin was 110 pounds. You are a 300-pound ox.
And the adult. Like, the adult.
Totally. And so, like, nobody believes that side of the story. And I gotta tell you guys, like, we don't ever get a definitive telling of what exactly happened. All we know is that at some point, Justin gets shot trying to get out of the house and was shot from behind, shot in the side, which is basically like he wasn't coming at Norman. He was obviously, like, trying to get away from Norman when he was shot, right?
Yeah.
And then, like, he and Siobhan run into the woods, and that's where, like, Justin falls and dies.
Justin fell, and he told Siobhan that he wasn't gonna make it. And Siobhan at that point didn't want to leave him there because he wanted to take him. But as he was trying to get Justin up, Justin was dying right there in his arms.
And Justin just told him to run. He's gonna come after you.
And it's heartbreaking to hear, and we hear this from Justin's family, and they're all here, and they just like, they're in so much pain, and it just makes me so mad.
Yeah, it's fucking terrible. So we get this on-screen text that tells us that Norman was charged with 7 counts and is facing life plus 60 years in prison. So it's felony murder, malice murder, voluntary manslaughter, 2 counts of kidnapping, and 2 counts of aggravated assault. 2 counts of kidnapping. Like, that's like, beyond the murder, that's what really stood out to me. Like, he forced those boys to stay there at gunpoint and terrorized them before he killed one of them.
Yeah, and I don't know if this was the intention of the court, but at first I was like, to their credit, they were kind of saying, how many different ways can we say this guy murdered Justin? Because felony murder, malice murder, manslaughter, kidnapping, and I'm like, okay, all right, maybe we won't have a terrible ending.
So we take a break from this story for a minute, and we are going now to, like, we're going to learn more about Calvin Burns. He was the one that was like, Miami is normal, Atlanta is normal, anywhere but here is normal.
Just like listing off cities about like who's less racist. And he's also our best friend Kiki. He's her dad.
Yeah, that's like the big reveal. Kiki from the beginning, who was also Justin's like first love and girlfriend and that whole deal. Like, it's all connected. We love Calvin and his family. And Calvin is campaigning to become Montgomery County's first black sheriff. He's currently the chief chief of police, and he's the county's first black chief of police. But like, he's campaigning. I love Kiki as like his little like campaign sidekick. Their family is fucking the best.
She's excellent at this. If she wants a future in this, she really does have a future of just like changing the political spectrum as we know it. I mean, she's incredible. But Kiki also like takes no bullshit, and I love so we get a lot of little moments like this. And she says,
someone spray painted the sheriff on one of the signs in Ailey.
You weren't surprised?
No, we weren't surprised at all. We was actually expecting it. We didn't think nobody was going to spray paint a sign, but we knew something of that sort was going to happen. Surprised that was the only one we seen.
Of course, someone vandalized a sign of my dad's, and she's like, they used the N-word, and they expected this. But Kiki, of course, finds the humor in it. She was like, they misspelled the N-word, so come on, like... Why am I even going to take them seriously? Kiki, you're amazing. Call me. And Calvin says, too, he's like, it's not really about being the first black sheriff. That is great. Like, he understands the weight of that, but he's like...
It ain't the point about being the first black sheriff. It's the point about making this community better. And I know I can.
I just think I'm the best person for the job. You know, when it comes down to it, I can do this job a lot better than the current guy. Just saying.
I get it, but I was like, can it also be a little bit about being the first black sheriff? Like, that's important too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, in my mind, it's both. But I do love that he's like, I'm just better at it. Like, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be really good at this.
He's like, me and the current sheriff, we get along great. I just know I could do the job better than him. And I just wrote, I was like, I need Alexandra Pelosi to come in and make like a full-length documentary about this campaign. Like, I would follow a documentary just about Calvin's campaign to be the sheriff for 90 straight minutes.
Yeah, I would, as long as she let Calvin and Kiki do most of the talking. It's their story.
Alex Pelosi tends to make it about her. Less you, Alex, more them.
Yeah, go listen to Ted Haggard if you want to know exactly what we're talking about. Chrissy, are you caught up? Did you listen to Ted Haggard yet? Play it for John. Let us know.
Oh, and then Kiki, like, you know, we're with Kiki in the car, and she also says, like how Norman was like, I'm not afraid of anything. Kiki says,
I'm not scared of anything. The only thing I'm scared of is somebody having something negative to say, and I have to bite my tongue. Like, that's just the only thing that gets me, because I don't like to bite my tongue at all.
My only fear is that I won't be able to keep my mouth shut when garbage people say garbage things to me. But other than that, and I'm like, hi, Kiki.
I know.
I feel seen by you.
I know. You want a podcast? Kiki, come work with us. But she's on the campaign trail. She's driving around, like literally talking to citizens. It's like that awesome door knocking thing that's like totally effective. She's putting like her dad's signs in people's yards. There's so much support for him. Like everybody loves this guy in this town, it seems.
Hey, my name is Kiki Burns, and my dad is Kevin Burns, and he's running for sheriff.
I know that's what I'm voting for.
Okay, cool. So can we put a sign like in front of your door or something?
The people that she/we are talking to, they're just like, yeah, he has the most experience and he treats people with respect. Why wouldn't I vote for him? And she's like, great, so I'm going to put a sign on your, as she's already like hammering the sign into the lawn. And Jillian is driving with Kiki. Yes. And again, they've like bonded super hard because Jillian straight up asked, she's in the passenger seat, and she asked Kiki, and she's like, Kiki, your dad isn't super thrilled that I'm documenting all this. Do you know why? And Kiki, like in the middle of checking her blind spot, not skipping a beat, she's driving, and she goes,
he don't want you around because really no one likes you. I'm not gonna say no one likes you, but a lot of whites don't like you because of what you do. He feel like if people see you at his house or see him talking to you, then he's a part of you trying to bring the racism out, and they're not gonna vote for him.
Well, because no one likes you. Right. And she goes, well, maybe not like no one, but I mean, white people definitely don't like you because you came down here and called them out for their racism. So yeah, my dad, like, no one likes you, girl. And I'm like, Kiki, you're amazing.
Because Kiki's point is that my dad's running for like public office. And so like, even though you pointed out the racism and you were right to do that, my dad still needs their votes. So like, he likes you. He's just like, can't really be seen with you, girl.
Right. And I feel like Jillian thinks, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Totally. Yeah, Jillian wants him to win the sheriff shift.
But both Jillians here, me and our filmmaker.
All right, you guys, we're back to the Norman shot that black kid situation. Mm-hmm. We're like gearing up for the trial, and we meet Norman's lawyers. And the first one we meet is Tina. And like the first thing that Tina says,
Norman's a good guy.
Norman was a good guy. Like Tina.
Tina. I know. And the other defense attorney is Lance. So it's Tina and Lance. They are on Team Norman being racist AF.
But the thing is, I don't ever really hear Lance say anything in defense of Norman. I was kind of trying trying to follow what he was. I was like, wait, everything you're saying is like, no, this guy should go to jail. No, this guy definitely did it.
There are definitely some points where I'm like, wait, did I write that down and go back and reread what his lower third was? Because I'm like, why is the guy defending the racist trying to make a little bit of sense? Why does he make a little bit of sense to me?
Right, because this guy, Lance Hamilton, the defense attorney, is saying everyone just thought that Norman was this old redneck man who shot a black kid. And I was like, yeah, like that's right. Like that is what everyone thinks. Right. But then Lance is saying like,
there were any number of folks that believed that there was self-defense involved in this. But if you look at the technicalities of the law, self-defense goes away when somebody is attempting to escape, that they're no longer a threat.
He's like, once people run away from you, which is what Justin and Siobhan were doing, it no longer becomes self-defense.
So then I was waiting for Lance to give us the counter as to why the shooting was still justified, and he never does it.
Totally. Because Tina's here to just run her mouth with some bullshit, honestly. And she's like, look, okay, fine. Norman was reckless. He killed an innocent black kid. Honestly, It happens here in Georgia all the time. And she's like, look, the whole night was a series of mistakes. And here comes the victim blaming. She's like,
they had initially met up in this bedroom, smoked a blunt, a marijuana blunt.
They were smoking a marijuana blunt, okay?
She says a blunt, a marijuana blunt.
And Tina eye rolls, and I'm like, Tina, put your eye roll away, because I need room for mine. Get out of here. And Tina looks at us, and with a straight face is really like,
it's really important to know that Norman had other young men who were black visit his child. He let children of all kinds come visit. They didn't do it at 3 o'clock in the morning because that's not the time to visit.
It's very important for all of us to know that there have been black people in Norman's home before and he didn't shoot them, okay? Right. Case closed. I don't know. This is a waste of my time, your time, and the court's time. He has been around black people and he didn't kill them.
Right.
So clearly, you don't know Norman like I know Norman, okay? He's only killed one black person.
Right.
Just one. So really, where's the crime? And I'm like, Tina, girl, watch it. And throughout all of this, I'm screaming, where is Danielle? Where is the adopted daughter who invited these boys in her home? Like, we're talking to all these people, and Danielle is just like, she needs to take responsibility for inviting them over. She gave them directions. Like, what is her side of the story here?
Yeah, and guess what, you guys? We're going to get it in a little bit, and it's not what you think. It's not at all. It does not go as expected. So it's now the week of Norman's trial, and this is fucking crazy. We learn that, like, the day that Justin's parents think they're going to start selecting a jury for this trial, they are called and told by the prosecutors, without having been asked for any input on this, they are told by the prosecutors that they are accepting a plea offer. Mm-hmm. We don't even know what the plea offer is yet, but everyone is just a fucking wreck.
They told us that the DA and Norman E. Smith's lawyers had worked out a plea bargain.
Something we didn't know nothing about, wasn't informed about. If so, I would have never went with that. I would have went to trial. I would have fought for justice for my son.
I don't understand how this happens without the family's, at least the family's input, you know?
Yeah, or telling them, look, you're never going to win this case if we go to trial, so here's what we're going to do, and you might disagree, but this is really the only way you can do it. Not even that.
Yeah.
So here's what Norman agreed to. Norman agreed to plead guilty to 1 count of involuntary manslaughter.
Involuntary, you guys, that's like an accident. That's like when you kill somebody by accident, which even Norman says he didn't do. Even Norman says he shot this guy on fucking purpose.
Right, and 1 count of reckless conduct, which led to the involuntary manslaughter. Like, he killed somebody.
Yeah.
He killed somebody, everybody.
And the district attorney prosecuting this case is recommending a sentence of 1 year in a detention center. And they say detention center over and over again. I'm assuming that means it's nicer than a fucking prison. I don't know. It seems like an old folks home for fucking assholes like Norman.
Right, like racist murderers. And then even like what's even worse too, it's now up to the judge to accept the plea deal or not at the sentencing. So now it's like it all lies in the hands of some judge.
You know, the family takes some solace in that because the family is going to lay out the judge's options options for us that either they can accept it, they can completely reject the plea offer, or they can accept the plea but give him more time. And I'm like, that's not going to happen. Like, we've done a million of these documentaries. Like, these plea bargains are meant to expedite the process. The judge is just going to say, like, you lawyers agree and you lawyers agree. Like, that is what it is.
I know. And because even in my notes, like, we're in court, Justin's family here, Garbage Norman walks in, and Judge Kathy Palmer. And I have in my notes, do the right thing, girl. Come on, do the right thing, please.
Are you ready to get even more angry, girl? Are you ready?
Girl, look, I showed up to work today. I did my stretches. Let's go. What's up? What's new?
Because then the fucking garbage judge asked Norman if he has anything to say. He says he wants to speak directly to the family. The judge should not allow that. Norman turns to the family, and I swear to God, you guys, he actually wants the West Wing music playing underneath him as he gives a speech to the family, an unintelligible speech. I am not convinced they understood what he said. I didn't. But I needed the closed captions for it. And he is saying, I'm sorry that your son died that night, but a part of me died that night too. The look on his face, he expects to be completely absolved of this by Justin's family for saying that.
All he does is shrug and say, I'm sorry it happened, but it happened, and this hurt me too. He makes it about himself, and he just keeps repeating, a part of me died too, which is the most infuriating thing. And he literally shrugs his shoulders like it happened. Like it happened to everyone. Like some supernatural force took the gun next to his bed and just, I don't know what happened. The gun went off. No, you ran these two black kids out of your house and you wanted to kill both of them, but you're such a bad shot, you didn't.
Right. I mean, like, if this wasn't clear, he fired shot after shot after shot, including after they, left the house. He was trying to kill both of them.
And they weren't warning shots. They weren't up in the air. He was shooting to kill these boys, these black boys.
So the judge does not, as expected by me, the judge does not do anything but accept what has been prearranged. He's going to get one year in a detention center for killing this kid in cold blood. And Dee Dee has to be dragged by her friends to her car in the parking lot.
She's being carried out.
Yeah.
It's like a scene in the parking lot. And I'm not saying that with any shade. It's just like this woman, first of all, her worst fear was her son being killed by a white guy, right? She says as much.
Of course.
And then on top of that, after that totally traumatic thing happens, her second worst fear is that nothing happens to the guy who did it.
Right.
So both of those horrible, nightmarish situations happen to her.
So after this shit show at court, Gillian with a G, the director, tracks down Danielle. Danielle is Norman's adopted daughter. She's the girl at the center of this whole thing. She and her friend invited over the boys. We're finally meeting her.
My dad's never showed any kind of anger toward anyone. I mean, he wouldn't hurt a fly. He's just a big old teddy bear. He might look like he's mean, but he's a teddy bear. You couldn't meet anybody softer than my dad.
And here's the thing, you think the point of this interview is to get from Danielle the definitive story of what happened that night. Remember, Norman's story is that he was super nice to these boys and was just asking them questions. Justin lunged at him and that's why he shot him. Justin's family story is that he held them against their will at gunpoint, and when they were trying to escape the house via a locked door that they couldn't open, that's when he shot them in cold blood and then just kept shooting.
Right, and so I'm waiting, just like you. All right, Danielle, what's your side of the story? And we spend a lot of time with Danielle and her emotions, and that's valid.
I mean, I'll wake up in the middle of the night just sitting there shivering and shaking, and my boyfriend's wakes up what's wrong with you? I'm like, nothing, I'm just having nightmares again, just go back to sleep. And he'll be like, all right, he said, just accept it, and maybe you won't have the nightmares anymore. I said, it's kind of hard to accept it after you done accepted what happened and you're still having the nightmares. I said, whenever you see something like that, you just can't forget it. It's gonna stick with you for a while.
I want more from her. I understand she's sad and she's been through a lot, but stop defending Norman. And can you just tell us what happened? And Gillian, girl, I love you, but what happened there? Why wasn't that asked?
Jillian's first question is, I want to go back to that night. And then we don't get a single other question from Gillian in this entire section. We get Danielle explaining, and Danielle is walking a very fine line because she loved Justin and she misses him. And we also find out that they had known each other before. So the night that Justin came over, they hadn't seen each other in a while, but she had known him for a long time and had feelings for him. But she also still very much loves loves her father, Norman, and still wants to have a relationship with him. So she's threading a very fine needle, but like, I need to know, like, was your dad holding them against their will? Did Justin lunge at your dad, or did Justin run for his life and your dad shot him in the back? Like, I need an answer.
Yeah, and all she says about that is,
if it couldn't ever happen and if I could take it all back, I would. I should have been stepped up and, stopped everything before it even got to where it got, but I didn't. And the fact that I didn't, like I said, that's what makes me feel like all of it's my fault, because I didn't do anything about it. I didn't try to stop it. I went along with it.
She says, I didn't try to stop it and I went along with it. Danielle, what is it?
I know.
What are you talking about? I need more from you.
I know.
I'm sorry, Gillian. You should have asked more. It's very weird to say that, to say my name like that in this kind of way. It's interesting. But I needed more from that conversation. It was kind of like, wait, we're finally here with her and now this. Great.
John, can we have the outtakes?
John, sweetheart.
So, he literally, Norman serves his 1-year sentence. Like, we get the on-screen text that says 365 days and he gets out. Has not learned his lesson. He is not remorseful. He still cannot stop talking about how the murder of this 19-year-old boy has ruined his life.
This mess has cost me 2 years of my life. And that boy's daddy sat up in that courtroom and how bad they hate to go to the cemetery and all that. What the hell they think it done to me? Like I told him in courtroom that day, and you probably remember. I said, you keep talking about, the loss you got for your son and stuff. I said, when your son died that night, a big part of me died too.
Yeah, and he almost is angrier about the situation. They didn't respect me. They knocked my kitchen table over. Like, Norman, priorities, girl.
Oh, no, girl, he doesn't call it his kitchen table. He calls it his eating table.
Even worse. Norman, you are the worst. Norman, you suck. Norman, I don't like you. If you've made it this far in the episode and you're still confused about how I feel, not a fan of Norman.
What if Norman is sitting on his couch with his AirPods and his iPhone listening to this episode of True Crime?
He's not. I was going to save this to the end, but he's dead.
No. When did he die?
He died in November of 2020 after an extended illness. He's dead.
Oh.
And I feel nothing.
Okay. And you guys, it ends with, remember Awesome Calvin?
Yeah.
He's the chief of police who was running for sheriff. Well, we skipped over this part, but he won the primary by a landslide. So against all the other Democrats, it was 800 votes for him and 100 votes for everybody else.
Right.
And so everyone thought he was going to win, and then he doesn't. Calvin has 30 years of experience. He's the fucking chief of police.
Yeah.
And the guy he was running against has absolutely no policing experience at all, and the other guy wins by 100 votes.
This is very Hillary and Trump. Someone with experience and who's worked in government, or some white guy who has zero experience at all, and they voted for the guy with zero experience.
Yeah, and Kiki is saying,
after all that, he only lost by 100 votes. And we can't find out where those 100 votes came from. We can't find out where it came from. Asked for a recount, they couldn't give him one. You couldn't give him a recount because he didn't have a reason for a recount. That's reason enough. I think I got cheated, but they did something. I just don't know what they did.
Kiki says, she's like, yeah, this was it. This was the straw that broke the camel's back. She got the hell out of Dodge. She's like, I'm not going back to that small town, Georgia, ever again. So wherever Gillian is talking to her, it's not in Mount Vernon, Georgia.
Which sucks because, what a loss. Kiki is you can just tell, what an amazing person. She would have done probably great things for the town. But bye. If you're not going to vote her dad for sheriff, you don't get to keep Kiki.
I wonder if Kiki did some work for Georgia in this most recent election as her home state.
Oh!
Because
my
she's
God,
so
wouldn't that
good
be
at canvassing
amazing?
and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, Kiki, I'm going to try to follow her on social media or something. I want to know where she is. I want to be her friend. And then we're back to the prom. Remember how this all started with the proms? Remember?
Totally, yes.
So it just ends with the proms have remained integrated. And finally, in 2012, Gillian was finally allowed to go photograph it because she was attacked the last time she tried. We just see all these photos and all these kids, and there are a lot of interracial couples, and they're all going to the prom, and they're integrated. They're having a nice time. And it ends with the closing credits song, We Still Believe, by one John Legend.
We won't get old, our hearts made of metal.
Oh my God, you guys, while I'm thinking of it, it made me remember, go watch The Prom on Netflix. While we're talking about proms, go watch The Prom on Netflix. It's so fucking good.
I haven't watched it.
It's Daisy's favorite musical, and I love it, so go watch it. Okay. You guys, if you want more Gillian and me, join us on the Patreon. Over 160 full bonus episodes to download a binge right this second. All the series you wanted us to cover, from, Serial and the Staircase to Tiger King and Don't F with Cats and The Vow. Oh, what are we doing? Oh, we just started Night Stalker.
Yeah, we just started Night Stalker. We're doing Heaven's Gate. We just did Wilderness of Error on FX. If you only knew the list of what we're doing, like we have so many things coming up on the page and so many things we've already done. It's a treasure trove.
It's so good. There's also ad-free versions of these episodes. Just go patreon.com/truecrimeobsessed or go to our website, click on the Patreon link. Girl, what are we doing next?
Oh, we're doing Framing Britney Spears.
Yes! It's the one, you guys, honestly, it's been a long time since I've seen a documentary so requested. I'm like, we're doing it. We're doing it.
We're doing it. It just came out. I've watched it twice. I have feelings. Yeah. I'm going to save them for you hear how the tone changed. I'm furious. Many people, and we'll get to it. I mean, we're doing it.
So you guys, stay tuned for the trailer for Framing Britney Spears and our hilarious and ridiculous outtakes. Oh, you can find us at truecrimeobsessed.com. You can find us on Instagram at True Crime Obsessed Podcast. Every Tuesday at noon, we're going live. We call it Ladies Who Lunch. We take your questions. We talk about the week's episode. It's super, super fun. Like hundreds and hundreds of you have been joining us, so keep that up, you guys.
Yeah, at noon Eastern time. Everything we do is Eastern time because that's where we live. I know that there's some confusion there, so just want to throw it out there. Noon Eastern time on Tuesdays.
I'm at Patrick Hines _ on Instagram, at Patrick Hines on Twitter. You are Gillian with a G on all the things.
Yeah, and that's I just got put on the spot for some reason. Why did I just feel I got totally thrown off?
No, that's it. We're done. Just say bye.
Okay, bye. We love you. Thank you so much, John Legend. Can't wait to hear your feedback.
I know. Bye.
Britney was so serious and so focused. This is a girl that's coming from strength.
She was so open and vulnerable. How we treated her was disgusting.
Britney had to navigate being told who she could be and what she could do.
People became fascinated with her sort of unraveling. She accepted that the conservatorship was going to happen, but she didn't want her father to be conservator. That was her one request.
And anytime there's that amount of money to be made, you have to question the motives of everyone close to that person.
Do they always have her best interest at heart? Something is going on behind the scenes here.
I didn't understand what a conservatorship is, especially for somebody capable of so much that I know firsthand she's capable of.
Why is she still in this? Why is her dad making all of her decisions?
What do we want? Free Britney!
Oh my God! You need a water break over there, GB?
I do, actually. My throat. This is like already half gone. Oh God.
My favorite note to Matt, our editor, is like, "Girl, we can't understand a goddamn word anyone said in that because like that just happens sometimes."
I feel like Gillian and John Legend are just always with the clips they use and the editing. They're kind of looking at us like, "See."
Right.
Like very kind of like, do you see what we're trying to say here with this piece of, with this art that we're making? You see the message we're trying to send because they let people be honest and just really dig their own graves. And I appreciate that. Don't make it about yourself, white people. Don't make it about yourself. Make a change every single day. Speak out, vote with your, make a decision, vote, whatever. Just like do better. Like stop making it about us all the time. Jesus Christ.
I don't exactly know where the Bible Belt is. I'm assuming this is it.
I don't care what kind of church you are. I don't care. Unless you're like a racist church. Like if you wave the Confederate flag.
Or like one of those snake handling churches. Let's do away with those two.
Again, racist church. And I'm not wrong for saying the Confederate flag. Like, read a book. Open a goddamn book. Read a book. These people.